Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, the home cook hero, and I'm back with a new video. Back with a new video. Anyway, y'all, don't mind me. Today we are making Southern style red beans and rice. This recipe is like such a comfort food dish for me, and it reminds me of just growing up and being with my grandmothers and my mom's cooking. And y'all, this recipe really just holds a special place in my heart, and I really think I've learned from the best in how to make beans. So y'all, without further ado, let's just get right into the video. So y'all, we are starting off with our beans. I soaked a pound of beans overnight, so about 8 hours, 8 to 10 hours is fine. And that really helps with the cooking process and cuts down the cooking time a lot. So after that, I am just adding in some pork neck bones that I bought. And you want to make sure you put them in the pan in like an even layer. You got a little bit of veggie oil or something like that to help get everything started cooking. And I actually, as you see here, like to kind of cook the neck bones for a couple of minutes on all the sides, just to really kind of help develop a little bit more of a smoky flavor. And you know, we're going to be adding water to this right here, to these neck bones. And so I really want to get this sauce, or get the stock I should say, off to a really good start. So yeah, I'm adding in just enough water just to cover the top of the neck bones. It's no real measurement. I mean, yours is probably going to be different. So just enough water to cover the neck bones, and then you want to just boil it. I boil mine on high, and I checked it every 20 minutes just until everything started to get nice and tender. You want the meat to really start to fall off the bones. You don't want it to fall off the bones all the way before you add the beans, because you want to kind of think about that as well, right? You're going to be cooking the beans in this, so you want everything to kind of be ready at the same time. But the most important step is to make sure that the meat is kind of starting to really soften up before you add the beans. That'll really help everything come together at the right time. So 20 minutes later, on basically high heat, this is what the neck bones are looking like. They're definitely starting to soften up, and you know, the meat is definitely starting to fall off the bones. But I wanted to let mine go for like another 40 minutes. I think in all, I definitely did this for like an hour and 10 minutes or so, just to make sure that the meat was really nice and tender before we started adding in the beans. So now, while that's cooking, I am going on with the andouille sausage. You can use whatever kind of sausage you have, beef, pork, kielbasa, whatever you have, or you can leave it out. But I like to add this andouille sausage because it gives a nice like spicy kick, and I really like that. So I'm just using 2 links for this. I don't need a whole lot of sausage all up in there. So yeah, I'm just cutting up 2 links real quick. And I actually like to obviously cut them, as you see, kind of like cut them on a diagonal a little bit. And I also like some pieces that are kind of like smaller. So I like to kind of chop up some pieces a little bit smaller, as you see me doing right there. There's no real rhyme or reason, and I don't really know if there's a real reason why I like that. I don't know. I think I don't know, just the different textures. I don't know what it is. But yeah, you don't have to do that at all. Then I just added to a skillet. I didn't add any oil because this, as you see here, gives enough oil off. And that's also a good thing here, is that we're rendering out some of that extra oil that we don't really need to eat. So y'all, after about 20 minutes, I took the lid off the neck bones, and this is what they're looking like. As you see, that water has really reduced dramatically, and the neck bones are really softening up and look like they are ready to fall off the bone. So now is the perfect time to add in those beans that we had soaked overnight. Also, as you see here, picked out a couple little extra ones that I saw that needed to kind of be taken out, but it really doesn't matter too much. It's really, it was just going to bother me, I know. So yeah, after that, I just poured over some water over the top. Again, there's no real measurement because every pot is probably going to be a little bit different, but you just want to make sure you pour in enough water to kind of just cover the beans at this point. A lot of that water is going to evaporate throughout the cooking process. It's going to take at least an hour and a half to 2 hours. So you're going to have to be adding more water to it as well. So I poured it in the water, and now I'm just stirring everything up to make sure everything is combined, and then I'm just gonna close that top on it and let it simmer for 20 minutes. So I guess I should probably say the magic number for this recipe is just 20. Every 20 minutes you want to just come back and check it, and also have your heat on medium. You don't need it on medium high or anything like that, or high, definitely not. You can have it on medium, even a medium low, because you've already cooked the beans and everything. I mean, you've already soaked the beans, so you've already done half of the work. All right, y'all. So this has been 20 minutes later, and again, the water has reduced some more, and the neck bones are really looking juicy and everything. And if you'll see me, I'm using this kind of wooden spatula thing to scrape the bottom just to make sure nothing is really sticking. That's why, again, I said make sure you simmer this on like medium or even medium low, because you do not want to scorch the bottom of your beans. The beans are going to kind of like soak to the bottom, or settle to the bottom a little bit, and they will scorch if the heat is too high. So now I'm going in with the andouille sausage. I'm just adding that in at this stage, so the sausage can kind of tenderize a little bit, but it's not really going to start falling apart or anything, y'all. And I'm also going in with an onion that I just kind of like roughly sliced. Actually, I think that was 2 onions that I kind of just roughly sliced. You can dice it up, you can leave the onions out. I just like the texture of onions in there. I even honestly would just throw in a whole raw onion and just let it do its thing while it's cooking and just fall apart throughout the process. But anyway, y'all, that is kind of what I did. Mixed everything up together, and then I just let it simmer for another 20 minutes, y'all. Alright, y'all, so it's been another 20 minutes of the beans simmering on medium, and now just let's take a second just to look at how rich that stock looks that the beans are cooking in. It's really coming together, y'all. But I am adding in 2 bay leaves that I had. As you saw, I just keep like a bag in the freezer with some fresh bay leaves, and that works for me. Do whatever you want. If you have the dry bay leaves, that's also fine as well. So yeah, add in the 2 bay leaves, and then I want to just stir everything up together. And I don't know if any of you all realize this yet, but we have not added any seasonings at all to these beans, which is very, very uncharacteristic of me if you've watched any of my other videos. And there's a reason for that. With these beans, they really soak up any kind of seasoning you put in them. Especially if you put in any salt or anything, they will soak that salt up. And as you've seen, we've kept having to like add more water so everything can reduce. And by the water reducing and reducing multiple times, that'll just make the salt kind of intensify in flavor. So anyway, long story short, don't add the seasoning, especially not salt, until this stage in the game where you're like 30 minutes to 40 minutes out. So as you saw, I went in with a little bit of pepper, a little bit of accent, a little bit of garlic powder. I didn't add onion powder because we have fresh onions in there, and I don't know, I've always had to think about that. I don't know, call me crazy. And also add a little bit of Cajun seasoning, I think, as well. So yeah, then add everything in there, then stir it up a little bit, and then you can put the top back on. I, at this stage, actually like to kind of cock the top to the side a little bit so it's not entirely closed, and that helps a little bit more of the water evaporate and kind of like speeds up that process, because we also, or at least I, like to have the sauce a little bit on the thicker side, because I like to eat mine over rice and stuff, and or with biscuits, and so that way it's just a little bit better. It's more of like a gravy with the beans, if you will. And also at this stage, you can take out the bones in the neck bones. You can take the bones out as well if you want to. I really didn't do that because I don't really mind it. As you see here, I'm cocking the top to the side so more water can evaporate. But yeah, y'all, after 20 to 25 more minutes, this is the finished product. This is what you have. Look at these beans. Okay, look at these beans, y'all. So y'all, we are pretty much done. I am just tasting the beans right now just for last minute seasoning changes. But yeah, y'all, that's pretty much it. So now I am just gonna plate it with some rice. I like my beans with rice. You can also pair it with like some cornbread or biscuits or whatever else you want to. Do what you want to do. I don't need to tell you how to eat your food. But yeah, just showing y'all how the way the consistency the beans came out. And this is perfect for me. This is just how I like my beans. So yeah, I think we were really successful with this time, y'all. This recipe is like home for me. Reminds me of both of my grandmothers, honestly. Reminds me of my mom's cooking. This really just takes me back, and this is such a comfort meal for me. And you know, fall time is right around the corner, and then winter time, and I definitely think you should give this recipe a try. Anyway, y'all, that is all I have for y'all today. If you enjoyed what you saw, you can like this video, leave me a comment, and you can even subscribe to the channel, y'all. I upload videos weekly, and I would love to add you to the family. So y'all, that is all I have for y'all today. Until the next video, I will see you later.